In 2011, one man tried to prove that absolute freedom could exist online. No violence, no taxes, no rules, just math, anonymity, and belief. His name was Ross Ulbricht, and this is how an idealist became a legend, and then a prisoner for life. Ross Ulbricht was 26 years old. He wasn't a gangster. He wasn't violent. He was a physicist, a researcher, and a devoted libertarian. Ross believed in one radical idea, that the government had no right to decide what you put into your own body. To him, drug laws weren't protection, they were oppression. So he asked a dangerous question. What if there was a marketplace with no rules at all? To build it, Ross disappeared from normal life. He moved into a rundown cabin in Texas and began writing code, alone. Night after night, powered by caffeine and conviction, he worked in isolation. His plan was simple, but revolutionary. Combine Tor, a network designed for anonymity, with Bitcoin, a digital currency no government could track, a free market, hidden from the world. In a small, improvised lab, checking the door constantly, afraid of being caught. Then he listed them online. And for the first time, something unprecedented happened. A stranger paid him in Bitcoin for illegal drugs over an anonymous network. No names, no banks, any minus placed, entreating stack, market ASO, no intermediaries. The transaction went through. The Bitcoin arrived. Nothing exploded. No police. No knock on the door. At that moment, Ross knew this wasn't theory anymore. It worked. Encouraged, he launched the website. At first, it had a boring name, Underground Brokers. Soon, he renamed it to something better, something symbolic, Silk Road. Everything changed overnight. In 2011, a media article exposed Silk Road to the public. What had been a hidden corner of the internet suddenly went viral. Traffic exploded. Users flooded in. So did the money. Tens of thousands of dollars. Then hundreds of thousands. Then millions. Ross panicked. Success brought visibility, and visibility meant danger. He vanished. Ross left Texas and resurfaced in San Francisco, living under false identities. He lied to his girlfriend. He lied to his family. He told them he worked for a currency exchange startup, but online, he became someone else entirely. Ross adopted a new name, Eck, Dread Pirate Roberts, a reference meant to suggest that the role could be passed on, that he was not just one man, but an idea. On the Silk Road forums, DPR became a godlike figure. He wrote long political manifestos, talked about freedom, autonomy, and voluntary exchange. To users, Silk Road wasn't just a market. It was a movement. By day, Ross drank coffee in hipster cafes, blending in effortlessly. By night, he ran a global drug empire from a single laptop. But every empire attracts enemies. In 2013, a user named Friendly Chemist made a threat. He claimed he would expose Silk Road's customers and vendors, unless he was paid $500,000. This was the moment everything broke. Ross faced a choice: shut down the platform and betray his beliefs, or protect Silk Road at any cost. The idealist made a fatal calculation. He convinced himself that violence was justified if it protected freedom. Ross paid $150,000 in Bitcoin to hire a hitman. The man he hired was actually a scammer, possibly law enforcement. Ross demanded proof. Soon after, he received a photograph of a dead body. The image was fake, but Ross believed it was real. His message in the chat revealed everything. "I'm a little disturbed, but I'm okay." This is the moment public sympathy ends. The line had been crossed. Meanwhile, law enforcement was desperate. The FBI, DEA, and Homeland Security all chased Silk Road and failed. Tor was impenetrable. Then came the unlikely hero, an IRS agent named Gary Alford. He wasn't a hacker. He didn't understand Tor, but he was obsessive. Gary tried something simple. He searched Google for Silk Road and Onion, but filtered the results to before Silk Road became famous. Buried in old forums, he found a username, Altoid. On a Magic Mushroom forum, Altoid casually promoted Silk Road. On a programming forum, the same user asked for coding help. And there, by mistake, he left his email address, Ulbricht@gmailpunkt.com. That single oversight ended everything. In October 2013, agents knew who Ross was, but arresting him wasn't enough. If Ross closed his laptop, Silk Road could vanish instantly. They needed him logged in. The trap was set in a public library in San Francisco. Ross sat down in the science fiction section, opened his laptop, logged in as Dread Pirate Roberts. Behind him, two agents staged a loud argument. Ross turned his head. In that instant, another agent grabbed the laptop. The screen was still open. Silk Road's admin console was live. Ross Ulbricht was caught in the act. Ross Ulbricht was sentenced to life in prison without parole. To some, he is a criminal who became what he claimed to oppose. To others, he is a political prisoner, punished for challenging the system. But his story leaves behind one haunting question. When freedom has no limits, who decides where the line is?